Hey, Mama, let's talk about self-promotion. Self-promotion is a sticky subject, especially with women. I struggle with it. I've struggled with it. I get nervous when I self-promote. I don't want to come across as boastful or cocky. Um, I have a fear. Like, what if I say I'm great at something and then someone's like, no, you're not. You're not. You actually suck at it. Like, it's hard. There are a lot of mixed feelings that come with self-promotion. But there's also something that won't come without it, and that is growth. If you don't self-promote, people will not know how awesome you are. Even more, if you don't self-promote, people won't know how awesome you are at the things that you want to excel at the things that you want to do more of. Self-promotion is key in helping people understand what you're good at and what you want to do more of and why you should be able to do more of that thing. And so it's really important that we learn to self-promote. And it doesn't have to be icky, right? It doesn't have to be icky. It doesn't have to be gross. Self-promotion is honestly a good way to bring more value to the world, because when you self-promote, you are sharing and helping others to understand where you can actually add that value, right? And there's 2 steps to learning to self-promote if you struggle with it. The first step is actually accepting compliments. Start there with accepting compliments with a thank you. It's so interesting, right? For me, because I still have a hard time accepting compliments. Like I very rarely just go, thank you, right? I have to work on that. And so if someone says to me, you did a great job. Oh, my response is usually going to be, you could probably do a great job at that too. Or if someone says, oh, wow, you look so young for your age. Oh, it must be the adult acne, right? Like there's always something disparaging that I have to say when it comes to getting a compliment. And if I don't, and I actively work on it, I do actively work on it, and I work on it and I say thank you and just accept it and receive it. And I learned that once someone pulled me aside. I had said something disparaging about myself, and she pulled me aside and she said, hey, I'm going to say something to you. And I was like, okay, well, say something to me. And she said, look, if I came to your house with a gift, nicely wrapped in a box with a bow on it, and I gave it to you, what would you do with that gift? And I was like, well, I would take it and ask you, should I open it now or open it later? And then, if you said now, I would open it. And she's like, that's right. You would accept it and you would open it and you would pretend, even if you didn't like it, you would pretend to like it. And a compliment is a gift. When someone gives you a compliment, just accept it. You don't have to put it down or change the meaning or just, make it a big deal. Just accept it like you would accept a gift that someone brought to your house. She shared this with me and it was very impactful. And now I am better able to accept compliments. But like I said, I still struggle. But that is step 1. Learn to accept compliments. Because if you can't accept compliments, it's going to be very hard for you to even talk about yourself as being amazing, right? You can't accept someone else telling you're amazing. It's really hard for you to say that you're amazing. So someone says you're great. Someone says you're amazing. Someone said you did a great job. You look good. Just say thank you. Accept it. And the more you accept it, the closer you're going to get to believing it. And once you believe it, the sky's the limit. So step 1, when it comes to self-promotion, is learn how to accept compliments. Step 2 is to actually start talking about how amazing you are. And there are 3 ways that I want to give you to do that, right? So that it doesn't, because again, it doesn't have to be gross. Like it doesn't have to be, you tooting your own horn or coming across as, cocky. Like you can actually, again, self-promote and share about yourself in a good way. The first way is to really take advantage of those opportunities to self-promote that are natural. And if you're like me, you're like, okay, wait, what's a natural way to self-promote? I had to learn this. A natural way to self-promote is when somebody gives you an opportunity to share anything about yourself, you share something positive, right? So if your boss or one of your colleagues asks you, hey, how are you doing today? Don't just go, I'm fine, I'm good, and keep it moving. Instead, say, oh, I'm great. I just kicked butt in this presentation. Or, oh, I'm awesome. I just made this Excel sheet that is so deep, but is so wonderful. And like, it's going to give me all the answers that I need. Or you could say, I'm amazing. I just had the best meeting with this business partner and I'm sure we're moving forward with that sale. Or I just had a great meeting with one of my teammates and I was able to encourage and motivate them and I know that they are going to do better at what they do, right? Just when someone asks you how you are, tell them about something great that you've done. I am awesome. I feel good. I'm excited by this thing that I have done. It's a natural opportunity to promote yourself, to share what you're good at. Another way to do that is to tell a story, right? So saying you're awesome is, not as memorable as a story might be, right? So let's just take this, you did a presentation and you knocked it out of the park. Rather than saying, if somebody asks you, oh, how'd the presentation go? Oh, I knocked it out of the park. I was great. I'm the best. Like, you don't have to do that. Instead say, oof, you could give the whole story, right? So, I was so nervous. I worked on the presentation all night. When I walked into the room, my hands were sweating. I was like, looking at the CEO and looking at the CFO and thinking to myself, Whitney, can you really do this? And then, because I had put in the preparation and I really knew my stuff, I was able to deliver. I answered every question that they had and my sweaty palms, they dried up and I was there. I even made some jokes and made people laugh. Do you want to hear one of those jokes? Okay. That's really, that is the story that you can tell about the presentation. And it's going to be much more interesting to the person who you're sharing it with. And it's going to be more memorable than if you just said oh, yeah, I did a great job. Instead, they're like, oh yeah, your palms are sweaty. I get nervous when I go in front of the CEO too. I've never even been in front of the CEO. Things like this, right? It'll be memorable to them. And that is, that's going to be more valuable to you. And it's also more valuable to them. And it helps to build relationships because everybody loves a good story. The last thing, and mama, this one is from me to you. And I need you to lean in and listen. When you're self-promoting, when you are talking about, and let's be real, right? Self-promotion is just the idea of talking about the great things that you do. And if you want to do those great things more often, people need to know you're great at them. And the only way they will know that is if you tell them. And this is the thing. The third thing is when you tell them, you need to be excited about it. Don't share it begrudgingly. Don't share it like, someone's pulling teeth about it. If you walk into the room or someone asks how you're doing, take that first example, right? Where you're going to share, how are you doing? And you're like, I'm so excited about whatever. If you sound like this, how are you doing? And then you sound like this. Oh yeah, I'm so excited. I just, I really killed it with that presentation. I did a good job. That's not exciting to anyone, right? You need to share it with the positive emotions that you really truly feel about it. And more importantly, with the positive emotions that you want that other person to receive about it. So you got to say I'm so excited. I did this really great job. I was able to interact. I told the jokes. I made it happen, right? That level of energy makes a huge difference when you're self-promoting. If you don't sound like you believe it, then people themselves aren't going to believe what you're saying. So make sure that you bring good energy to your self-promotion. And again, self-promotion is really just talking about the things that you're good at. And it's okay to be good at things. In fact, it's great to be good at things. When you are good at things, you add value to the world. You make your life better, you make the lives of others better. And so just do the things that you're good at, do the things that you're great at, and talk about it. Now, I want you to take some action, because without action, none of this matters. Why are you even watching the video if you're not going to take action? So here's the action that I want you to take. I want you to think about one big accomplishment that you have, that you've achieved. One big accomplishment that you've achieved that represents something you want to do more of. Maybe you negotiated a contract in another language. Maybe you did a really great presentation. Maybe you spoke, public speaking, and you delivered something to a large group. Maybe you were able to assist with something that was really exciting for you to assist with. Maybe you were able to manage a team. Whatever it is, whatever that accomplishment is that you want to do more of, I want you to think about it, and I want you to write down the story that you will tell others when they ask you how you're doing. I'm great. I was just remembering this time that and then run with that story. Write it down and then practice saying it. And I know it sounds weird to practice saying it, but this is how you get comfortable with self-promoting, with talking positively about yourself. And you are amazing and wonderful, and you should speak positively of yourself. So write it down, practice saying it, and the next time that you have the opportunity to share with someone, share. If you want some more tips on how to advance your career, how to get ahead without spending long hours in the office and sacrificing all of your personal life and all the time that you should have with your kids, then I want you to check out my course. I have one called Get Ahead Without Staying Late. You can find it on my website. And I would love for you to take it and give me feedback. Because I'm always looking to get better, but I also would love for you to take it because I know that is going to help you to excel and add more value to the world while you are able to grow, like not only your career, but also as a woman, right? As a person. So check it out.